This title is presented to you by Soundlibra.com. For more audiobooks like this, click the link in the description or visit our website at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to the Daily Win. Today, we dive into the incredible power of the tiny triumph.
We're so excited to start this journey. Just a quick heads up before we get started. While we're talking about the science of habit formation and motivation, please remember this is for educational purposes and isn't medical or professional mental health advice.
That's a great point. Now, let's introduce our core philosophy: how small victories unlock profound transformation. There's science behind why focusing on little wins is so effective. Think about setting huge goals only to feel overwhelmed and give up. It's a common trap. We aim for the mountain peak, forgetting the journey starts with a single step.
And that's where the tiny triumph comes in. It's about acknowledging and celebrating those small steps. These are victories so small, we might not even recognize them, but they are building blocks of achievement.
Precisely. There's real psychology at play. When you achieve something, no matter how small, your brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to pleasure, reward, and motivation. It creates a positive feedback loop.
So, by focusing on tiny wins, we give our brains a regular dose of that feel-good chemical, encouraging us to keep going.
Exactly. It's like priming the pump. When you experience a win, your brain signals, "This feels good. Let's do that again." This is crucial for habit formation. Many habit strategies fail because they require too much effort up front. A tiny win is almost always achievable.
I like that. It lowers the barrier. What might a tiny triumph look like for someone starting this journey?
It could be as simple as making your bed, or drinking a glass of water before coffee, or doing 5 minutes of stretching, or reading just one page of a book. The key is a defined, achievable action, and completing it feels like a win.
Those sound manageable. And when you accomplish one, you get that little dopamine hit. Then, you've set a positive tone for the rest of your day.
Precisely. And over time, these tiny wins accumulate. They build win momentum. It's the feeling you're moving forward, that you're capable, that you're making progress. This momentum is powerful for tackling larger goals. Instead of a monumental task, you see a series of small, conquered steps.
It shifts your perspective. Instead of, I'll never finish this huge project, you can think, I just completed step one.
That's a perfect way to put it. It's about rewiring our definition of success. We're conditioned to believe success is a grand event. But in reality, success is often a series of small, consistent efforts. By celebrating these smaller achievements, we build confidence, self-efficacy, and resilience.
Self-efficacy is an interesting concept. Can you explain that more?
Certainly, self-efficacy is your belief in your ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a task. When you consistently achieve small wins, you build a robust sense of self-efficacy. You start to believe, yes, I can do this.
So, this isn't just about feeling good. It's about building a genuine belief in our own capabilities. That's powerful.
It is. And it's a much more sustainable path than chasing external validation or grand achievements. This is about an internal locus of control. You're in charge of your small victories. We'll explore how to identify your personal wins in the next episode, because it's not one size fits all.
Right. To recap, the daily win harnesses the power of small, achievable actions. These tiny triumphs trigger dopamine, creating a positive feedback loop for motivation and habit formation.
Exactly. They lower the barrier to entry for new behaviors and goals, and they build win momentum, that feeling of progress that propels us forward. Crucially, this process builds self-efficacy, our belief in our ability to succeed.
It's about shifting our focus from the daunting mountain peak to the very next manageable step and celebrating completing that step. This sets the stage for sustainable growth and confidence.
And that's the foundation of everything we'll cover in this series. We'll delve into identifying your personal wins, planning for them, celebrating them, and using them to build incredible momentum in all areas of your life.
It sounds like a really practical and empowering approach. I'm excited to continue this journey.
Me too, Lisa. And for our listeners, remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And in our world, that single step is a win.
So true. Next episode. What's your win?
Welcome back. Last time, we explored the power of small victories. Now, let's define your personal win.
And it was a fantastic introduction, Alex. It really got me thinking about the ripple effect those small wins can have. But as we move into this episode, we're diving into something even more fundamental, aren't we?
Absolutely, Lisa. Today, we're tackling the question, what's your win? This is such a critical step because, as we'll see, a win isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. It's deeply personal.
That's a great point. I think many of us, myself included, sometimes get caught up in what society or others deem as a success. We might compare our progress to someone else's highlight reel, and that can be incredibly demotivating.
Exactly. The core of today's discussion is recognizing that your win should be defined by you, for you. It's about identifying those personal victories that resonate with your values, your goals, and your current circumstances. It's not about climbing someone else's ladder, but about building your own.
So, it's about introspection. How do we actually go about figuring out what makes a win for us when we might be so used to looking outward?
Great question. The first step is conscious awareness. Start by simply observing your day. What activities do you engage in? What tasks do you complete? And more importantly, how do you feel about them? Do you feel a sense of accomplishment, even a small one?
Okay, so it's not just about the grand gestures. It's about noticing the smaller things. Like, if I manage to drink a full glass of water first thing in the morning, that's a win.
Precisely. For years, I used to think a win had to be something significant, like finishing a major project at work. But I realized that getting my workout clothes on, even if I only managed a short walk, was a victory in itself. It was a win for my health and my intention.
That shifts the perspective entirely. It makes it so much more achievable. It democratizes success in a way.
It really does. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a gardener. For one gardener, a win might be a prize-winning rose bush. For another, it might be successfully growing a few fresh herbs for dinner. Both are valid, valuable wins, reflecting their different goals and efforts. Your win is like your personal herb garden.
I love that analogy. So, we need to identify what our personal herb garden looks like. How can we actively cultivate that awareness? What are some practical strategies?
One powerful strategy is journaling. Dedicate a few minutes each day, or even a few times a week, to write down what you did and how you felt. Don't censor yourself. Just get it down. Look for patterns. Are there certain activities that consistently give you a small boost of satisfaction?
Journaling. That makes sense. It's a way to create a tangible record of these small moments. What else?
Another approach is to think about your core values. What's truly important to you? Is it health, creativity, connection, learning? Then ask yourself, what small action today or this week moved me even slightly closer to that value? If connection is important, a win could be sending a thoughtful text message to a friend. If learning is a value, a win could be reading just one chapter of a book.
So, we're linking our daily actions to our deeper aspirations. That feels much more meaningful than just ticking off a generic to-do list item.
Exactly. And it's crucial to be honest with yourself. It's easy to set a goal like write a novel, but if you're just starting out, or if your current life circumstances don't support that, a more realistic and thus achievable win might be write for 15 minutes today. That small act of dedication is a victory in itself. It builds the foundation for the larger goal.
This is so important. We need to avoid setting ourselves up for disappointment by aiming for something that's not within reach right now. It's about progress, not perfection, and recognizing each step.
Absolutely. And sometimes defining your win also involves unlearning. We might need to unlearn the idea that only big, externally validated achievements count. We need to let go of the comparison trap and embrace our own journey.
So, to recap, identifying your personal win involves first, becoming consciously aware of your daily activities and feelings. Second, using tools like journaling to track these moments. And third, explicitly linking your actions to your core values and aspirations. We're encouraging ourselves to define success on our own terms, celebrating progress over perfection.
That's a wonderful summary, Lisa. It's about creating a personal definition of success that feels authentic and motivating. And remember, your win can evolve. What feels like a win today might be the baseline tomorrow. The key is that ongoing process of self-discovery and adaptation.
This really sets the stage for what comes next. If we can't define what a win is for us, how can we possibly plan for it or celebrate it?
And that leads us perfectly into our next episode, where we'll delve into the art of the microplan. We'll explore how to break down those definitions of win into actionable, bite-sized steps.
Fantastic. So, listeners, take some time this week to reflect on what a win truly means to you. Be kind to yourself, acknowledge your efforts, and start defining your victories, big or small.
It's about building that internal sense of accomplishment, one small, personal victory at a time.
This has been so insightful, Alex. I'm really excited for our listeners to start this practice.
Me too. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Next episode, the art of the microplan. Welcome back. Last time, we explored what constitutes a personal win. Today, we're diving into the art of the microplan, the blueprint for creating those daily wins.
That's right, Alex. Knowing what a win is just the first step. The real magic happens when we actively engineer opportunities to experience those wins. And for me, the idea of a microplan sounds incredibly approachable. It's not about grand gestures, but about small, deliberate actions.
Exactly, Lisa. Think of it this way. You want to climb a mountain. A macro plan might be climb Mount Everest. That's overwhelming. A micro plan is breaking it down into pack my water bottle, lace up my hiking boots, walk to the trailhead. Each of those is a tiny, achievable goal. When we talk about micro planning for daily wins, we're doing the same thing. We're taking larger aspirations and chopping them into bite-sized, manageable steps.
So, it's about making things so small and so achievable that we almost can't not succeed?
Precisely. It's about setting ourselves up for success. Let's connect this back to our last discussion, where we talked about identifying your personal wins. Remember how we talked about defining what success looks like for you? A micro plan helps you operationalize that. If your win is feeling healthier, your micro plan might involve actions like drink X glasses of water today, eat one fruit with breakfast, or take a 10-minute walk. These are concrete, doable steps.
I like that. It shifts the focus from the daunting final outcome to the immediate, controllable action. So, how do we actually create these microplans? What are the principles?
Great question. The first principle is simplicity. Your micro plan should be incredibly straightforward. If it takes you 30 minutes to figure out your plan, it's too complicated. Aim for a plan that can be written down in a minute or two. Think about what you want to achieve in a day. Maybe it's related to work, health, personal growth, or even just tidying up your space. Pick one or two key areas.
So, not a 5-page to do list, but maybe one or two bullet points.
Exactly. And the second principle is realism. This is crucial. We often overestimate what we can do in a day. A realistic micro plan ensures that your goals are achievable within your available time and energy. If you have a demanding job and a busy family life, planning to write a chapter of a book every single day is likely not realistic. But planning to write for 15 minutes? Much more achievable.
That realism piece is so important. I know I've fallen into the trap of setting ambitious goals and then feeling defeated when I don't meet them. It's a cycle that actually demotivates me. A microplan seems to break that cycle by making success the default.
That's the goal, which leads to our third principle, actionability. Each item on your micro plan should be a clear, actionable task. Not be more productive, but respond to 3 important emails. Not get fit, but do 20 squats. Observable, measurable actions are key. When you complete that action, you've achieved a micro win.
So, we've got simplicity, realism, and actionability. How do we integrate this into our actual day?
The beauty of the micro plan is its flexibility. You can create it the night before or first thing in the morning. The key is to dedicate just a few minutes to it. For instance, let's say you identified making progress on my side project as a key area. Your micro plan for tomorrow might simply be dedicate 20 minutes to brainstorming project ideas. That's it.
And then, when you actually sit down and brainstorm for 20 minutes, you've achieved a win. You've successfully executed a part of your microplan.
Precisely. And that feeling of accomplishment, that completed action, is the fuel for your momentum. Now, let's consider breaking down larger aspirations. Imagine your big aspiration is to learn a new language. That's a big goal. What's a micro plan for that?
Okay, so maybe spend 15 minutes using a language learning app, or listen to one short podcast episode in that language for 10 minutes.
Perfect. See how we've taken a large goal and broken it into tiny, digestible actions? These are the building blocks of your daily wins, and they contribute to your larger objectives without feeling overwhelming. It's about progress, not perfection, and certainly not a frantic rush.
So, it's about creating a series of small, achievable victories that accumulate over time. What about scheduling? How do we ensure these micro tasks actually fit into our day?
This brings us to the importance of realistic scheduling. When you identify your micro tasks, consider when you're most likely to complete them. Are you a morning person who can tackle a task before work? Or do you prefer to unwind with a productive activity in the evening? Block out a realistic time slot for your micro task, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes. Treat it with the same importance as any other appointment.
And when you say treat it with importance, you mean actually showing up for it, right? Not just listing it, but making it happen.
Absolutely. It's about commitment to yourself and your goals. Let's recap the core elements of the microplan we've discussed. Simplicity, keeping it easy to create and understand. Realism, ensuring the tasks are achievable within your life. Actionability, making sure each item is a clear, doable step. And finally, realistic scheduling, carving out the time to actually perform these actions.
This is so empowering, Alex. It takes the abstract idea of winning daily and makes it concrete. It's about giving ourselves permission to set small, achievable goals and then celebrating the completion of those small goals. It's like building a staircase, one small step at a time. Each step is a win, and eventually, you reach your destination.
That's an excellent analogy, Lisa. And the key takeaway here is that your microplan doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the same every day. The goal is consistency in effort, not necessarily in the specific tasks. Even if some days you only manage one tiny micro win, that's still progress. It's better than achieving nothing because the planned goal felt too big.
So, the art of the microplan is essentially about creating a pathway to consistent, small successes that build confidence and momentum without the pressure of big, overwhelming goals.
Exactly. It's about practicing the habit of winning by making winning accessible every single day. Ready to build your own micro plan for tomorrow?
Definitely. I'm already thinking about how I can apply this.
Fantastic. If you're listening, take a moment after this to jot down just one or two simple, realistic, and actionable tasks for tomorrow. Your future self will thank you. Next episode, we'll explore the exhilarating feeling of celebrating your successes, both big and small, and how that fuels your journey. Thanks for listening. Welcome back to the Daily Win. Today, we're talking about celebrating successes, big and small.
It's so easy to just tick a box and move on. We achieve one of those micro steps, and our brain jumps to, okay, what's next? But celebrating is a vital part of the process.
Absolutely. Think about it. When you're trying to build a new habit or achieve a new goal, your brain is learning. Celebrating a win, even a tiny one, tells your brain, hey, this was good. Do more of this.
So, it's not just about feeling good. It's about actively reinforcing the behavior we want to encourage. It's like a little reward that says, you did a good job.
Exactly. We need to get good at recognizing what constitutes a win. Remember from episode 2, we talked about defining what your win looks like? Well, today we're focusing on the moment of winning and what to do right then. Let's start with the simplest form of celebration, acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement. What does that look like in practice? Is it just saying, I did it to yourself?
It can be. It could be a simple internal monologue. Yes, I made that phone call I was dreading. Or, I stuck to my healthy eating plan for today. It's that moment of conscious awareness you've moved forward. But we can also make it a little more external. A mental high five, a quiet fist pump. It sounds silly, but it engages your body and your mind in recognizing the achievement.
Okay, I can see how that would shift my internal dialogue. Instead of, ugh, that was hard and now I have to do more, it becomes, okay, that was hard, but I did it. That felt good.
Precisely. And this leads us to the next level, verbalizing your win. This can be sharing with a supportive friend, a family member, or even just saying it out loud to your pet. When you articulate your success, you externalize it, making it more real. It's like taking that internal thought and giving it a bit more weight.
I like that. Because sometimes I'll do something I'm proud of, but I keep it all to myself. And then a week later, I've kind of forgotten the feeling of accomplishment associated with it. Vocalizing it, even if it's just to myself, would help anchor that feeling.
Absolutely. And the beauty of this is that it's scalable. You don't need a ticker tape parade for every small win. Some days, your win might be getting out of bed when it felt impossible. And your celebration might be a deep, contented breath and a silent, thank you, body, for getting me here. Other days, your win might be completing a significant portion of that microplan.
Right. And that larger win might warrant a slightly more substantial celebration. This is where rewards come in, isn't it?
Indeed, and this is where people often get confused. They think rewards have to be big, extravagant things. But the most effective rewards are often small, immediate, and directly linked to the win. They should feel like a treat, a bonus for a job well done, not a massive indulgence that undoes your progress.
So, if my microstep was to go for a 20-minute walk, what could a good reward be? Not a whole pizza, I'm guessing.
Definitely not a whole pizza for that walk. Maybe your reward is 15 minutes of guilt-free scrolling on your phone, listening to your favorite music, or having a really delicious, healthy smoothie that you wouldn't normally make for yourself. The key is that it's something you enjoy and that feels like a genuine reward without derailing your overall goals.
I see. It's about positive association. You associate the action, the walk, with a pleasant outcome.
That's the psychological principle at play. This is called operant conditioning in a nutshell. Essentially, we're conditioning ourselves to want to repeat the behavior because we know it leads to a positive consequence. And this applies to all sorts of goals. If your micro plan was to dedicate 30 minutes to a creative project, your reward might be an extra episode of your favorite show or a special cup of tea.
So, we've got acknowledgement, verbalizing, and then these tangible rewards. This sounds like a system. How do we make sure we're consistent with it, especially when life gets busy?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Consistency comes from making it a non-negotiable part of your process. Schedule it in if you have to, especially at the beginning. Think of it like this. When you complete a task from your micro plan, your immediate next step isn't the next task. It's the celebration of the task you just completed.
So, the celebration becomes a built-in step. It's not an optional add-on.
Exactly. And it helps to create these little victory rituals. Maybe every time you achieve a planned micro step, you take 3 deep breaths and say, well done. Or perhaps you keep a small jar of marbles, and for every win, you move a marble from one side to the other. It's a visual cue, a physical representation of your progress.
I love the visual aid idea. It makes the abstract concept of progress much more concrete. And it ties back to our microplans. When we're looking at that list of small steps, we can actively think, okay, once I do this, I get to do X.
Precisely. And this is why celebrating small successes is so important. It's easy to dismiss them. Oh, it was just a small thing. But those small things are the building blocks of everything significant. If you're training for marathon, you don't get to the finish line without running all those short distances first. And each one of those short runs deserves recognition.
So, even if the ultimate goal feels miles away, celebrating those tiny wins keeps us motivated and reinforces that we are, in fact, moving forward. It prevents us from getting discouraged by the sheer size of the mountain.
You got it. It's about acknowledging the journey as much as the destination. And when you consistently celebrate your progress, you start to build what we'll discuss next episode, your winning streak. This consistent positive reinforcement creates momentum, making it easier and more natural to continue on your path.
So, to recap today, we've learned that celebrating our successes, no matter how small, is crucial for reinforcing good habits and behaviors. We can do this through simple acknowledgments, verbalizing our wins, or by implementing small, immediate rewards. The key is to make celebration a non-negotiable part of our process, a built-in step after completing a micro-planned task. This positive reinforcement is what fuels our progress.
And that momentum, that feeling of accomplishment, is what's going to carry us forward. So, start small, celebrate often, and notice the difference it makes.
Next episode, we'll explore how to string these celebrations together and build a powerful, continuous winning streak.
Welcome back. Last time, we explored the incredible power of celebrating your successes. Now, we're going to build on that foundation. Today, episode 5, Building Your Winning Streak.
It sounds so exciting, Alex, like reaching a new level in a game. Last episode, we talked about acknowledging every little win and how that fuels our motivation. Now, we're taking it a step further to talk about stringing those wins together.
Exactly, Lisa. Think about it. A single win is great. It gives you a boost. But a streak of wins? That's where the real transformation begins. A winning streak is that satisfying sequence of accomplishments that builds confidence and momentum. It's not about one grand victory, but a series of consistent steps forward.
So, it's about more than just being lucky or having a good run. It's about actively creating these sequences of success. How do we start building that streak, particularly when we might be feeling a bit stuck?
That's the million-dollar question, and it starts with the very principles we've been discussing. Remember episode 2 when we asked, what's your win? We need to be very clear about what constitutes a win for us, even in small steps. For building a streak, this clarity is crucial. We can't string together achievements if we're not sure what we're aiming for or what counts as progress.
Right.
If our definition of a win is too grand, we might only get one every few months. But if we define our wins as small, manageable actions, we can rack them up much faster. Imagine a runner. They don't win a marathon by sprinting the whole way. They win by maintaining a consistent pace, one step after another, for a very long time. That consistent pace is their streak.
That's a fantastic analogy, Lisa. Building a winning streak is very similar. It's about consistency over intensity. So, step one, clearly define your micro wins for the specific goal you want to build a streak around. For instance, if your goal is to exercise more, a micro win might not be a full hour at the gym, but simply putting on your workout clothes or doing 5 minutes of stretching.
Okay, so first, we need to know what our small wins are. What's the next piece of the puzzle for building this streak?
The next piece is incredibly important, and it ties directly into what we discussed last time, celebration. When you achieve that micro win, you must acknowledge it, even if it feels insignificant. This acknowledgement is the glue that sticks one win to the next. If you skip the celebration, you break the chain.
So even if my micro win was just putting on my running shoes, I should give myself a little pat on the back?
Absolutely. A quick mental high five, a silent cheer, or even just a moment of acknowledging I did it. This reinforces the behavior and makes you feel good about taking that step. This positive reinforcement is what encourages you to take the next step and then the one after that. It's like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for yourself.
I like that. Leaving a trail of positive reinforcement. It's so easy to dismiss these small actions, but as you're saying, they are the building blocks of something bigger. And with enough small bricks laid down consistently, you can build a wall and then a house.
Precisely. Now, here's a critical point about streaks. They're not meant to be unbroken forever. Life happens. You'll miss a day. You'll fall off track. The key to a winning streak isn't about never failing. It's about how quickly and effectively you get back on track after a lapse.
Ah, the inevitable stumble. That's where a lot of people get discouraged, isn't it? They miss one day of their exercise routine and they think, well, that's it. My streak is broken. I'll start again next week.
Exactly. And that's the mindset we need to overcome. In our last episode, we talked about celebrating successes. Now, we need a strategy for celebrating our resilience. When you miss a day, the goal is not to dwell on the missed day. The goal is to immediately plan and execute the next win.
So instead of saying, oh no, I missed my workout yesterday, my streak is ruined, it's more like, okay, I missed yesterday. Today, I will do a 15-minute walk. And then make sure you do that 15-minute walk.
You got it. That is the secret sauce to sustaining momentum. It's what some people in self-improvement call the second-order win. Not just getting back on track, but intentionally and purposefully choosing to get back on track. This act of recovery, of resetting, is itself a win.
That's a really powerful way to reframe setbacks. It turns a potential moment of defeat into an opportunity to demonstrate your commitment. It's like the runner who might have stumbled, but instead of giving up, they pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and get right back into their stride.
And this is where the power of habit formation comes in. When you consistently take action, celebrate it, and recover quickly from lapses, you're essentially retraining your brain. You're building connections that associate these actions with success and positive feelings. Over time, the actions become more automatic.
So, a winning streak isn't just a temporary burst of motivation. It's the process of building sustainable habits that lead to consistent progress. It's about turning those initial micro wins into a lasting lifestyle.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the psychological benefit. Every time you achieve a win, your brain releases chemicals associated with pleasure and reward. This creates a positive feedback loop. You feel good, so you want to do it again. You do it again, you feel good. This is the engine of your winning streak.
It's like a snowball rolling downhill, gathering more snow and getting bigger and faster. And the more it rolls, the more momentum it has.
That's a perfect visual. Now, let's think about how to intentionally build this momentum. One strategy is to stack your wins. This means linking a new desired habit or small win to an existing habit that you already do consistently.
Stacking wins. Another great analogy. Can you give us an example?
Sure, let's say you consistently manage to drink your morning coffee. If your new goal is to meditate for 5 minutes, you could stack that by saying, after I finish my coffee, I will immediately meditate for 5 minutes. The coffee ritual acts as a trigger for the meditation.
So you're not relying solely on your memory or willpower to remember to meditate, but you're attaching it to something you already do without thinking. That makes a lot of sense. It's like adding another piece to that breadcrumb trail you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. And when you successfully stack those wins, you drink your coffee and you meditate. That's a double win. It reinforces two positive actions and builds a stronger sense of accomplishment for the day. This is how you start to build a noticeable streak.
So, to recap, building a winning streak involves first clearly defining your small, achievable wins. Second, remembering to celebrate each of those micro wins to create positive reinforcement. Third, and this is crucial, having a strategy for quickly recovering from inevitable setbacks, treating the recovery itself as a win. And finally, we can use techniques like stacking wins to link new habits to existing ones.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. It's not about perfection. It's about consistent effort and intelligent recovery. The goal isn't a flawless streak, but a resilient streak. A streak where you learn, adapt, and keep moving forward, even when life throws you a curveball. By focusing on these principles, defining, celebrating, recovering, and stacking, you are actively constructing a powerful engine for personal growth and achievement.
It really does feel empowering, Alex. Knowing that every small victory and even the way we handle our missteps contributes to a larger pattern of success. It makes the idea of big goals feel much more attainable when broken down into these manageable, repeatable steps.
Indeed, and that pattern of success is what we'll explore further in our next episode, where we'll delve into the psychology of that win momentum and how it can profoundly impact your motivation and your outlook on life.
Sounds fascinating. So, for this week, listeners, your challenge is to identify one small win you can aim for today and then another one for tomorrow. And remember to celebrate each one. And if you miss a day, make your next focus getting right back on track.
That's the spirit. Next episode, the psychology of win momentum. Welcome back to the Daily Win, helping you build a life of constant progress. Today, we're applying that momentum to something bigger.
That's right, Alex. Last episode showed how easy it is to keep winning once you've started. Now, episode 6, Conquering Mountains One Pebble at a Time, is about tackling those huge, daunting goals that feel overwhelming.
Exactly, Lisa. When you look at a giant mountain, it feels impossible. But no one climbs a mountain in a single leap. It's always step by step. That's the philosophy behind the daily win.
It sounds very similar to episode 3, The Art of the Microplan. Remember how we broke down tasks into the smallest possible actions? This seems like applying that principle to our biggest dreams.
Precisely. In episode 3, we learned that a microplan identifies the absolute smallest, most actionable step, removing all friction. This episode applies that same rigor to really large objectives.
So, if my mountain is writing a book, what's the pebble? It still feels like a lot.
Great question. For writing a book, a pebble might be open the document and write one sentence. Or even simpler, open the document. The key is to make it so ridiculously small that it's almost impossible not to do it.
That's brilliant. If you aim to write a page today, that's a big commitment. But write one sentence. You can almost certainly do that, even on a tough day. And that's our pebble.
Absolutely. Once you've achieved that pebble, you've already won. You've taken a step. You've conquered a tiny piece of that mountain. And this builds momentum. Once you've written one sentence, it's easier to write a second and then a third.
It's about creating that win momentum. For now, a colossal goal is simply a series of very, very small steps. We're not ignoring the mountain, we're focusing on the next pebble.
This approach helps overcome intimidation. When faced with something huge, your brain can freeze. It's too much, too hard. But when you look for the pebble, you engage your problem-solving brain manageably. You're not thinking about the whole mountain. You're thinking about that one small rock you can move.
So, we've discussed identifying the pebble. What happens after we collect a few pebbles? How do they form that upward path?
This is where the microplan shines. Once you have your pebble, say, write one sentence today, you might plan your next pebbles. Tomorrow, write 2 sentences. The day after, write a paragraph. You're gradually increasing the difficulty incrementally. You're not jumping from 0 to 100.
It's like building a staircase. Each pebble is a step, and you build the stairs one at a time. Eventually, you'll be much higher than you thought possible.
Exactly. This also helps avoid burnout. Trying to tackle a huge goal all at once can exhaust you. By taking small, consistent steps, you conserve energy. You build sustainable progress. It's about endurance.
I can see how this applies to many areas. Learning a skill, getting in shape, improving a relationship. The principle of breaking down a big objective into tiny, manageable pebbles remains the same.
It does. And it's important to acknowledge that pebbles might change. Life happens. Maybe you planned 3 sentences today and only managed one. That's okay. The key is not perfection, but consistency. Even one sentence is still progress. It's still a conquered pebble.
And if we miss a day, or only manage half a pebble,
That's a common pitfall. The temptation is to think, I've ruined it. I'll start again next week. But the daily win encourages us to be kinder to ourselves and refocus on the next available pebble. If you missed yesterday's pebble, today's pebble is to get back on track. Perhaps today's pebble is just to acknowledge the missed day and recommit to the next small step.
so it's not about never stumbling, but about how quickly and gracefully we get back up and find that next pebble.
Precisely. Think of it like hiking. If you encounter a large rock, you don't turn around. You find a way over it, around it, or you break it down. That's what we're doing with our goals.
I love the imagery of conquering mountains one pebble at a time. It makes a massive task feel achievable. It's about consistent, deliberate action, even when the end goal seems distant.
And that's the core message. Big goals are achieved through a multitude of small actions. Don't be intimidated by the mountain. Focus on the pebble in front of you, pick it up, and place it. Do that consistently, and you'll climb far higher than you ever imagined.
So, to recap, this episode has shown us that seemingly insurmountable goals can be conquered by applying our microplanning skills. We identify the smallest possible action, the pebble, and take that step consistently. This builds momentum and makes progress feel achievable, preventing overwhelm and burnout.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. We've learned that the path to conquering mountains is paved with tiny triumphs. Remember, the biggest achievements are usually the result of the smallest, most consistent efforts.
It really is a powerful mindset shift.
It truly is. And that brings us to the end of episode 6. We've learned how to tackle those big ambitions with our daily win approach.
In episode 7, we'll delve into the psychology of win momentum. We'll explore how those small victories can create a powerful, self-sustaining force that propels you forward.
We can't wait to share that with you. Until then, find your pebbles and start climbing. Welcome back to the Daily Win. Last time, we explored how to break down big challenges into manageable pebbles. Today, we're diving into the engine that propels us forward, win momentum.
It's that snowball effect. You achieve one small win, feel more capable, more motivated, and the next win feels almost inevitable. It's like building a streak, which we touched on in episode 5.
Exactly. This win momentum is a positive feedback loop. When you achieve a goal, your brain releases a chemical that makes you feel good about what you've done, naturally encouraging you to do it again.
So, our brain is rewarding us for success. When I finish a task I've been putting off, there's this instant lift, and it makes me want to tackle the next thing with renewed energy.
Precisely. That feeling fuels self-efficacy, your belief in your own ability to succeed. Every small win reinforces your belief that, yes, I can do this. It's like building a mental proof for your own capabilities.
So, it's not just the external reward, but the internal shift in how we see ourselves. It's changing our narrative from I might not be able to I have been able to, and I can again.
You've nailed it. Remember the micro plan in episode 3? Those tiny steps were setting up the conditions for win momentum. Each completed step is a tiny triumph, an opportunity for that feel-good chemical release and a boost to self-efficacy.
That's a fantastic connection. The microplan isn't just about making tasks less overwhelming. It's about architecting confidence by creating a frequent stream of small wins.
Absolutely. And this momentum doesn't just make similar tasks easier. It can transfer to new, unrelated challenges. When your brain is in a state of perceived success, you become more willing to take risks, try new things, and persevere. Your overall resilience increases.
That's incredible. It's a psychological advantage. If I'm on a roll with my fitness routine, I might find myself more motivated to tackle a challenging project at work. The confidence and energy bleed over.
Exactly. Think of a sports team on a winning streak. They develop swagger, a belief they can win. This is the cumulative effect of successful performances building confidence and their belief in their collective ability. They're operating with high win momentum.
I love that analogy. Win momentum isn't just about repeating the same thing, it's about building a general sense of capability and confidence that applies broadly.
Right. Now consider the flip side. A string of failures or the absence of wins can lead to a failure spiral. This is where lack of success decreases motivation, lowers self-efficacy, and makes subsequent attempts feel even more daunting.
That's the feeling of being stuck in a rut. You try something, it doesn't work, you feel discouraged, making you less likely to try effectively next time. Understanding this shows how crucial building small wins is.
It's crucial. Our strategy of focusing on small, achievable wins actively cultivates positive momentum. We're training our brains to expect success and feel good about progress.
So, win momentum is that snowball effect where small victories boost confidence and motivation, driven by that feel good chemical and increased self efficacy. This makes future wins easier and can transfer to new challenges, creating a positive feedback loop.
You've articulated that perfectly. This is directly linked to building winning streaks. Each small win reinforces the streak, making you more likely to continue. It's about creating a consistent narrative of progress. The more you practice and succeed, the more you believe in your capacity to succeed. This transforms your daily actions into a powerful force for change.
It's about retraining our internal operating system from anticipating struggle to anticipating progress. And it all starts with those tiny triumphs.
It's not about one grand effort, but the consistent, cumulative power of small, daily victories. By building win momentum, you're not just achieving goals, you're shaping your belief in what you can accomplish.
It's a powerful psychological tool we can all actively cultivate. Thank you, Alex.
My pleasure, Lisa. So, those tiny triumphs, our wins, our micro plans, and our celebrations, all strung into streaks, are the building blocks of our psychological momentum. This momentum is the secret sauce that makes consistent progress natural. Next episode, overcoming obstacles and resetting the win. Welcome back to the Daily Win. Last time, we explored the powerful force of win momentum, that upward spiral that happens when small victories start to build on each other. Now, we're diving into something crucial. What happens when that momentum hits a roadblock?
That's right, Alex. Because life isn't a straight line, is it? We all face setbacks, unexpected detours, and moments where that carefully built win streak seems to crumble. This episode is all about how to navigate those obstacles and, crucially, how to reset the win when things go wrong without getting stuck in a spiral of discouragement.
Exactly. Think of win momentum like a rolling snowball. It gathers speed and size as it goes. But what happens if it hits a patch of rough terrain? It might slow down or even momentarily get stuck. The key is understanding why it got stuck and how to get it moving again. So, let's start by identifying these common obstacles. What are some of the biggest culprits that derail our daily wins?
I think a big one is simply underestimating the challenge. We set out with a goal, a microplan, and we're feeling good, but then we realize it's much harder than we thought. It's like planning a hike and expecting to reach the summit in an hour when the trail is actually incredibly steep and rocky. The initial enthusiasm wanes pretty quickly when reality hits.
That's a great analogy. The gap between expectation and reality. Another common one is unexpected external events. We talked about building our winning ecosystem, but we can't control everything. A sudden family emergency, a work crisis, even just a very bad night's sleep can throw our best laid plans off course.
And on the flip side, sometimes the obstacle is internal. It's our own mindset. We might experience a minor failure or just a day where we feel really unmotivated, and suddenly our inner critic starts shouting, telling us we're not good enough or we're destined to fail. That negative self-talk can be a huge barrier to getting back on track.
Absolutely. So we have underestimation, external disruptions, and internal mindset traps. Now that we've identified the kinds of obstacles, let's talk about strategies for navigating them. The first step, as you touched on, is often reframing. Instead of seeing a setback as a failure, how can we see it as a learning opportunity? This is where the concept of resilience comes in.
Reframing is so important. Instead of saying, I failed to stick to my morning routine today because I slept through my alarm, we can reframe it to my alarm didn't go off, which is an opportunity to check my alarm settings and ensure I have a backup plan for tomorrow. It shifts the focus from blame to problem solving. We're not dwelling on the bad thing. We're looking for the next step.
Exactly. It's about detaching emotion from the event and looking at it logically. When you encounter a hurdle, ask yourself, what happened? Why did it happen? And what can I do differently next time? This is the essence of learning from these moments. It's about gaining information, not assigning blame.
And when those external factors hit, like that unexpected work crisis, resilience means adapting and adjusting. It doesn't mean pretending the crisis didn't happen, but rather saying, okay, this is happening now. What is the absolute smallest, most manageable win I can achieve today, given these new circumstances? It might be as simple as taking 5 minutes for deep breathing or sending one important email. It's about maintaining some form of forward progress, however tiny.
That's a crucial point, Lisa. It's not about trying to force your original huge win when circumstances have changed. It's about finding a new, smaller win that fits the current reality. This leads us to the core idea of this episode, resetting the win. When you've missed a day or even several days of your planned wins, it can feel overwhelming to just jump back in. How do we do that effectively without falling into a spiral?
The first thing is acknowledging the missed win without judgment. Don't beat yourself up. That just adds more negative weight. Simply recognize, okay, I didn't achieve X today. That's happened. Then, the key is to lower the bar significantly for the next win. Think about getting back to basics.
Lowering the bar. Tell us more about that.
Imagine you plan to exercise for 30 minutes and you missed that. Trying to jump straight back into 30 minutes the next day might feel daunting. So, you lower the bar. The reset win for tomorrow might be a 5-minute walk, or just doing 5 jumping jacks. The goal isn't to replicate the missed win. It's to create a new, foolproof when that's almost impossible to fail at. This builds confidence again.
So it's about creating an almost guaranteed success to reestablish that feeling of accomplishment. This is like getting back on a bicycle after falling off. You don't immediately try to do a daredevil stunt. You just gently get back on and start pedaling smoothly again. This very small, achievable win breaks the inertia of the setback.
Precisely. And it's important to be deliberate about this. When you're resetting, your goal isn't to be amazing, it's just a win. Create a win that is so small, so simple, that it takes minimal effort and willpower. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, or taking 3 deep breaths before you start your work. These are tiny triumphs, but they serve a massive purpose. They remind your brain that you can succeed.
This connects back to our earlier discussions about the psychology of wins. Every small success, no matter how insignificant it seems, releases a feel-good chemical in your brain, reinforcing positive behavior. When you've had a setback, your motivation might be lower, and you might be feeling less inspired. These super small, intentional wins act as a quick antidote, kickstarting that process again.
So, to recap this section on overcoming obstacles and resetting the win. First, identify the obstacle. Is it an underestimation, an external disruption, or an internal mindset issue? Second, reframe the situation as a learning opportunity, focusing on what happened and what you can do differently. And third, when you need to reset, deliberately lower the bar. Create an almost foolproof, incredibly small reset win to rebuild your confidence and momentum without self-judgment.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. It's not about never falling. It's about knowing how to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and take that next small, deliberate step forward. Setbacks are inevitable, but they don't have to be the end of your winning streak. They can, in fact, be the beginning of a more resilient and adaptable approach to daily wins.
And by practicing these strategies, we're not just recovering from setbacks, we're actually strengthening our ability to handle future challenges. We're building that inner resilience that will serve us well long after this episode ends.
Absolutely. Coming up next on the Daily Win, we'll explore the incredible ripple effect, how your small victories and even your ability to overcome obstacles impact the world and people around you. Next episode, the ripple effect, how wins impact your world. Welcome back to the Daily Win. Last time, we explored how to overcome obstacles and get back on track. Today, we're exploring the ripple effect of our daily wins.
The ripple effect. So, how do these little daily victories actually spread beyond just ourselves?
Think about it. When you achieve a small win, maybe you finally cleared that cluttered desk, or you finished a task you've been putting off. How do you feel?
I feel accomplished. A little lighter, definitely. And honestly, a bit more confident. Like, okay, I can do this.
Precisely. That feeling of accomplishment and confidence is the first ripple. It's internal. You've proven to yourself that you can affect change. This builds what we call win momentum. Remember that from episode 5?
Oh, yes. Win momentum. It's that snowball effect where each win makes the next one feel more achievable. So, this initial boost in confidence is the very first ripple.
It starts inward, but it quickly becomes outward. That increased confidence can change how you interact with people. For instance, if you've had a string of productive days, you might approach your colleagues with more enthusiasm. Your attitude shifts.
That makes sense. It's hard to be grumpy or unengaged when you're feeling good about what you've accomplished. So, if I'm more enthusiastic at work, that positivity can affect my teammates, right?
Absolutely. Your positive energy can be contagious. People are often drawn to enthusiasm and a can-do attitude. This can lead to better collaboration and a generally more pleasant work environment. It's not just about your individual success anymore. It's about how you're influencing your immediate surroundings.
So, my small win of clearing my desk doesn't just make my desk look good, it can actually improve my team's dynamics? That's amazing.
It truly is. And it doesn't stop there. Think about your relationships outside of work, with family, friends, or partners. When you feel good about yourself, you're more present and patient. You have more emotional energy to give.
Right.
If I'm stressed and overwhelmed from work, I'm probably not the most fun person to be around. But if I'm feeling competent and capable because I've been ticking off those small wins,
Then you're more likely to engage in meaningful conversations, be a better listener, and share joy more freely with your loved ones. This strengthens your bonds and fosters a more supportive atmosphere at home. It's like tending to a garden. These small wins are like the gentle watering that helps everything flourish.
I love that garden analogy. It beautifully illustrates how focused effort in one area leads to growth in others. We're not just planting a single seed, we're cultivating an entire ecosystem by tending to these small, consistent victories.
And remember episode 4, where we talk about the importance of celebrating your successes. That celebration itself is a form of reinforcing that positive feeling, and that amplified positivity then feeds into these ripples. When you acknowledge and celebrate a win, you're actively increasing the positive energy you'll then project outwards.
So, the act of celebrating, which might seem like a small thing, actually amplifies the outward impact of the initial win. It's like adding extra momentum to that ripple.
Precisely. It's a powerful feedback loop. Your personal success breeds confidence, which leads to more positive interactions, which improves your environment, which in turn can make you feel even better about yourself, leading to more wins. It's a virtuous cycle.
Can you think of any other areas where we might see this ripple effect?
Certainly, consider your level of engagement in other activities. If you build the habit of achieving small wins in your professional life, you might find yourself more motivated to tackle personal projects, like learning a new hobby or improving your fitness. That success in one domain can spill over, giving you the confidence and energy to pursue goals in entirely different areas.
It's like building a general sense of capability. Once you believe you can achieve something, the barriers to trying new things seem much lower.
Exactly. And this can extend even further into your community or larger social circles. When you're feeling confident and positive, you might be more inclined to volunteer, to offer help to a neighbor, or to participate in community events. These actions, born from your personal successes, contribute to a healthier, more connected community.
Wow.
So, the effort I put into just getting my daily tasks done can ultimately contribute to a better work environment, stronger relationships, personal growth in new areas, and even a more vibrant community. It really does spread outwards in every direction.
It's a profound concept, isn't it? That the small, deliberate acts of achieving our daily wins aren't isolated events. They're the initial drops of water that create ever-widening circles on the surface of a pond. Your personal journey of accomplishment has a tangible impact on the world around you. It's about how your inner world of achievement translates into outer world positivity.
So, to quickly recap what we've discussed about the ripple effect, it starts with that internal boost of confidence and accomplishment from achieving a daily win. This leads to a more positive attitude, which then positively impacts our interactions with colleagues, fostering better work environments. This outward positivity then strengthens our personal relationships at home. Furthermore, this built up confidence can inspire us to pursue new goals and hobbies, and in turn, we become more engaged in our communities, creating a wide reaching positive influence. It's a beautiful chain reaction.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. It's a reminder that our efforts, no matter how small they seem, have a far greater reach than we often realize. The daily win is not just about a momentary feeling of success. It's about building a foundation for broader positive change in our lives and the lives of those around us.
It really puts a new perspective on those small victories. They're not just for us, they're for everyone.
Indeed. And that leads us perfectly into our next episode, where we'll explore the power of sharing your victories. Next episode, the power of sharing your victories. Welcome back to the Daily Win. Today, we're exploring something incredibly powerful, the magic that happens when you share your victories.
It's true, Alex. We've spent a lot of time talking about identifying your wins, making microplans, and celebrating those individual triumphs. But what happens when you take that win and, well, tell someone about it? Today, we're exploring how sharing amplifies that momentum, not just for you, but for those around you too.
Exactly. Think about it. When you achieve something, there's a natural sense of accomplishment, right? You feel good. But often, that feeling can be fleeting. Sharing that win transforms it. It's like taking a small spark and fanning it into a flame.
So, sharing isn't just about bragging. It's about solidifying the win and making it more meaningful. Could you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. When you verbalize your success, you're essentially reinforcing it in your own mind. This process of articulation is incredibly valuable for memory and for understanding your own progress. It moves the win from a passive feeling to an active confirmation of your capability.
I can see that.
It makes the win more concrete, more real. Instead of just a vague good feeling, it becomes a specific event you can point to.
Precisely. And when you share it with someone else, an accountability partner, a friend, a mentor, or even a supportive online community, you're inviting external validation. Someone else hearing about your win can say, "Wow, that's fantastic," or "I'm so proud of you." That external affirmation can be a powerful motivator, especially on days when you might be feeling a little less confident.
That makes sense. It's like having a cheerleader in your corner. And you mentioned accountability partners. How does sharing tie into that specific dynamic?
Accountability partners are crucial, and sharing victories is a key part of that relationship. Remember back when we talked about the power of microplans? Well, accountability takes that a step further. When you're accountable to someone, you're more likely to follow through on your plans. Sharing your wins with that partner demonstrates that you are indeed following through, and it provides that partner with evidence of your success. It builds trust and strengthens the partnership.
So, if I told my accountability partner I plan to go for a 20-minute walk today, and I actually did it, sharing that later serves as proof of my commitment. It encourages them to keep me on track, and it encourages me to keep showing up because I know they'll be checking in.
Exactly. And on the flip side, sharing your wins can also inspire your accountability partner. They see your success, and it might motivate them to push harder in their own pursuits. It creates a virtuous cycle of motivation and progress within that partnership. You're not just reporting in, you're actively contributing to each other's drive.
That's a really powerful point. It's not just about receiving encouragement, but also about giving it through your own example. It underscores the ripple effect we touched on earlier.
Precisely. And this effect extends beyond structured partnerships. Consider a supportive community, whether it's a group of friends, colleagues, or an online forum dedicated to a common interest. When you share your progress, your small victories, and your achievements, you contribute to a positive and motivating atmosphere. Others can draw inspiration from your journey. They might see your win and think, if they can do it, maybe I can too.
This is so relatable. I've definitely been part of groups where people share their progress, and it genuinely makes me feel more optimistic and determined about my own goals. Seeing others succeed, even in small ways, makes the seemingly impossible feel more attainable.
And it's not just about inspiration. Sharing your victories can also foster a sense of belonging. When you're part of a group that acknowledges and celebrates each other's wins, you feel seen and supported. This connection can be incredibly important for mental well-being and for maintaining long-term commitment to your goals. It combats the feeling of isolation that can sometimes accompany personal growth.
So, to recap the benefits of sharing our victories, It reinforces the win in our own minds. It provides external validation. It strengthens accountability partnerships. It inspires those around us. And it fosters a sense of community and belonging. That's quite a list.
It is, and it all circles back to that core concept of win momentum. By sharing, you're not just holding on to your win, you're actively spreading its positive energy. It becomes a catalyst for more wins, not just for you, but for your network. It's a way of amplifying the impact of every little triumph.
It sounds like a fundamental shift in how we perceive success. Instead of keeping it private, we're encouraged to make it a shared experience.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be grand announcements. It could be as simple, I finally cleaned out that cluttered closet, to your partner, or a quick post in a hobby group about mastering a new technique. The key is the act of sharing and the positive intent behind it. This practice transforms individual achievements into collective energy, reinforcing the idea that a life full of daily wins is not only possible, but also a source of joy and inspiration for everyone.
It's wonderful to think about how much further our individual efforts can reach when we decide to share them. It's like building a network of shared encouragement.
Exactly. And it's a skill that can be cultivated. Start small, find people you trust, and see the positive responses you get. You'll quickly discover the immense power of making your victories public, even in a small way. It's a testament to the fact that every victory, no matter how tiny, has the potential to ripple outwards and create a wave of positive change.
This has been incredibly insightful, Alex. It really emphasizes the social and motivational aspect of our daily win journey.
It truly does, Lisa. Next time, we'll be exploring how to design your entire day to be a winning ecosystem.
That sounds like a fantastic next step. Join us then for episode 11, Designing Your Daily Winning Ecosystem.
Welcome back. Last time we covered the power of sharing your victories. Now let's integrate daily wins into your life.
That sounds fascinating, Alex. We've talked a lot about small wins, microplans, and building momentum. Now we're talking about weaving those wins into the fabric of our lives.
Exactly, Lisa. Think of it like building a garden. You don't just scatter seeds and hope for the best. You prepare the soil, choose the right plants, water them, and protect them from pests. A winning ecosystem is the same way. It's about designing your environment and routines so that small victories become the norm, not the exception.
So we're not just finding wins anymore, we're cultivating them.
Precisely. And the first step is to look at your current environment. Where are you spending your time? What are your daily habits? What triggers certain behaviors, both positive and negative? We need to identify the fertile ground and the potential weeds.
That's a great analogy. So, if my morning routine is currently filled with hitting the snooze button multiple times, that's a weed in my potential winning garden.
You've got it. And maybe the fertile ground is that you enjoy a cup of coffee. How can we use that enjoyment to foster a win? Maybe it's enjoying that coffee while reading one positive affirmation or planning your very first micro win of the day. This is about integration, not adding a whole new set of overwhelming tasks.
I like that. It's about making wins feel natural and almost effortless by linking them to things we already do or enjoy.
It really is. Remember when we talked about the win momentum in episode 7? This is how you sustain that momentum. You create a system where wins are the default outcome of your day. We're talking about designing your physical spaces, your digital spaces, and your time.
Let's break that down a bit. How do you design your physical spaces for winning?
It could be as simple as setting out your workout clothes the night before, or making sure your workspace is organized and inspiring, not cluttered and distracting. If you want to win at reading more, have a book visible and easily accessible on your bedside table. If you want to win at healthy eating, Have healthy snacks prepped and visible in your fridge. It's about removing friction for the desired behavior and adding friction for the undesired one.
So, if I want to win at writing, I should have my notebook and pen right on my kitchen counter, where I eat breakfast.
Exactly. You're making that one incredibly easy to access. You're creating a visual cue. And if your phone is always within reach, that's a potential weed for your writing focus. Perhaps placing your phone on silent and in another room during your designated writing time is part of designing your physical space to support your writing win.
Okay, that makes sense. So, physical space is one aspect. What about digital spaces? Our phones and computers can be huge time sinks.
Absolutely. Our digital environments can be either powerful tools for progress or master saboteurs of our goals. Think about your phone notifications. How many of them are actually contributing to your wins? We need to curate our digital ecosystem. Turn off non-essential notifications. Organize your apps so that productivity tools are front and center and mindless distractions are tucked away.
So, like moving all social media apps into a folder that's on the third screen of my phone?
That's a fantastic example. You're creating a small barrier to entry for those time-consuming apps. It forces a moment of consideration before you dive in. This is about making conscious choices about what information and what stimuli you allow into your day. Consider your email inbox too. Can you set specific times to check email rather than being constantly interrupted by incoming messages?
This is really powerful. It's like building little gatekeepers for your attention.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about designing your time. This ties into our micro-planning discussions. It's about intentionally scheduling in those small wins. Instead of just saying, I'll exercise today, schedule a 15-minute walk for 3 p.m. You wouldn't just hope to stumble upon a grocery store when you need food. You plan your trip. We need to plan our wins.
So, it's about being proactive rather than reactive with our time.
Precisely. And when we schedule these small wins, we're also building positive association. We start to associate certain times of day or certain activities with the satisfying feeling of accomplishment. This is where the win momentum really solidifies. We talked about this in episode 7, how a completed task often fuels the motivation to complete the next one.
So, by creating this ecosystem, we're essentially automating our success.
That's a great way to put it, Lisa. You're building habits that support your goals. Remember the concept of habit stacking we touched upon briefly? That's a key component of an ecosystem. You stack a new, desired habit onto an existing, established habit. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will write one sentence of my novel.
Yes. So, my morning coffee routine could be a trigger for my win of planning my day. After I pour my coffee, I will spend 5 minutes outlining my top 3 priorities.
Perfect. You're creating a predictable pattern. And this ecosystem not only impacts your personal wins, but can also influence those around you. Think about how your positive habits can inspire your family or colleagues. Remember the ripple effect we discussed in episode 9? A well-designed, winning ecosystem creates positive ripples.
It's almost like building a supportive structure around yourself, where winning is the most natural and easiest path.
That's the goal. It's not about perfection, and it's not about adding more stress. It's about mindful design. It's about recognizing that your environment shapes your behavior, and then intentionally shaping that environment to support your best self and your goals. We're creating a garden where success can truly flourish. We've talked about identifying your wins, making micro plans, and celebrating your successes. Now, we're putting all those pieces into a functioning system.
So, to recap, we're designing our daily winning ecosystem by first, auditing our current environment, both physical and digital, to identify opportunities and obstacles. Second, intentionally structuring our time by scheduling small wins and using habit stacking. And third, creating supportive physical and digital spaces that make desired actions easy and undesired actions more difficult.
Exactly. It's about building a life where small victories aren't just occasional occurrences, but the steady hum of your daily existence. This is how you move from simply chasing wins to living a life defined by them.
This is such a practical and empowering approach. I feel like I have a much clearer picture now of how to make these daily wins stick.
That's what we're aiming for. In our next episode, we'll discuss how to maintain this momentum for the long haul, turning your daily wins into lasting transformation.
Next episode, maintaining the momentum, long-term transformation.
Welcome back. Last time we designed your daily winning ecosystem. Now, let's maintain momentum.
Right, Alex. We've spent the last 11 episodes breaking down the power of small wins. Now, how do we keep this going and translate it into lasting change?
That's the core question, Lisa. Maintaining momentum means adapting. Think of steering a ship. You make constant small adjustments to stay on course.
So, it's flexibility within the winning framework, not robotic routine?
Exactly. As you achieve and your circumstances change, your wins evolve. If your goal was 15 minutes of exercise, you might later increase it. Your system should support your growth, not limit it.
So, you redefine the next milestone instead of stopping? What if the original goal becomes irrelevant?
Great point. Goals can become obsolete. Life shifts. If you focused on healthy lunches for nutrition, you might pivot to dedicating time to learning a new skill. The principle of securing a small success remains, but its focus shifts. We call this goal pivoting.
Goal pivoting. I like that. It's about staying intentional. Identifying a new, relevant win is key.
Precisely. Regular self-reflection is crucial. Ask yourself, what small victory would make the biggest positive impact for me today? Or what can I accomplish that aligns with my future direction? This is an ongoing dialogue.
It sounds like building these wins should become so ingrained it's almost unconscious, like brushing your teeth.
That's the aim for long-term transformation. When the daily win becomes part of your identity, it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like who you are. Consistent practice embeds the behavior.
So, the daily win isn't just a tactic, it's a foundation for personal growth that supports a changing life. It's consistency in the act of winning, allowing the object of winning to transform.
You've got it. This is where the true ripple effect extends. Remember episode 9? Consistent small victories build confidence, resilience, and a positive outlook. These qualities spill over into your relationships, work, and well-being.
Absolutely. When you feel successful, you're more patient, supportive, and engaged. It's a virtuous cycle that needs to keep turning for long-term transformation.
So, how do we actively maintain this positive snowball effect? Celebrating your wins, even the small ones, is crucial, as we covered in episode 4. Acknowledge them. This reinforces positive pathways and encourages future wins.
Right.
An internal pat on the back or sharing a win can be powerful motivation. I did that, it felt good, I want more of that.
And speaking of sharing, remember episode 10? Sharing victories amplifies their impact and inspires others. It can create a supportive community, reinforcing your commitment. Maintaining momentum isn't just solo.
It's a collective one. Positive feedback loops and supportive communities skyrocket sustained transformation.
Let's recap maintaining momentum for long-term transformation. First, adapt your wins. Your daily success should evolve with your goals in life. Second, regular self-reflection helps you identify new, relevant goals and pivot effectively. Third, aim to make the daily win an ingrained habit and part of your identity for effortless maintenance. Fourth, remember the ripple effect. Your wins positively impact all areas of your life. And finally, celebrate your victories and share your successes to reinforce the habit and build a supportive environment.
That's a fantastic summary, Alex. It ties everything together. This journey has been about building a methodology for continuous self-improvement powered by small, consistent victories. We started with a tiny triumph and explored how to define it.
Then we delved into the micro plan, breaking aspirations into manageable steps. We emphasized celebrating successes to build that crucial winning streak.
We explored the psychology of win momentum, understanding how one success fuels the next. And we learned how to navigate obstacles, resetting and rebuilding habits.
We saw how these wins create a powerful ripple effect, influencing lives, relationships, and communities. We then looked at designing a winning ecosystem to support our efforts.
And now, we're focusing on sustaining all of this for lasting change. It's about evolving our definition of a win to match our growth and embedding these habits so deeply they become fundamental to who we are.
It's been an incredible journey, Lisa. From understanding the power of a single tiny triumph to envisioning a life of continuous growth. This series has empowered listeners to take control of their progress, one win at a time.
It truly has. It's about creating a life where progress isn't a daunting mountain, but a series of enjoyable, achievable steps. This approach transforms large goals into accessible daily wins, leading to profound, long-term personal evolution.
And that brings us to the cusp of our final episode. Next episode, the ultimate win, a life of constant growth. Welcome back to The Daily Win. This is our final episode, and we're wrapping up the series with a look at the ultimate win, a life of constant growth.
That's right, Alex. Over the past 12 episodes, we've explored how to identify, plan, and build on those small accomplishments. Today, we're bringing it all together to understand how daily triumphs cultivate a life of continuous self-improvement.
Exactly. Remember our very first episode? We defined the tiny triumph, those small, achievable actions like making your bed or drinking a glass of water. These are the foundational moments that set a positive trajectory for your day.
And we learned how these tiny triumphs accumulate, much like saving small amounts of money that eventually grow into a significant sum. This builds into what we called a winning streak, where each success reinforces positive behavior and makes the next one more likely.
Precisely. Our discussion on the micro plan was crucial. We emphasized breaking down any large goal into smaller, digestible steps. This approach makes goals feel achievable and helps prevent feelings of being overwhelmed. A micro plan acts as your practical guide for steady progress.
And it's so important to acknowledge each step along the way. We dedicated an episode to celebrating your successes, both big and small, to reinforce the positive feeling associated with accomplishment. When you acknowledge a win, you're essentially telling your brain, "This felt good. Let's repeat this."
That's the core of building your winning streak. Each completed task fuels your motivation for the next, creating a positive cycle where success naturally leads to more success. This process is incredibly effective for building self-confidence.
As we progressed, we introduced the idea of conquering mountains, one pebble at a time. This is the principle of applying the steps from your microplan to even the most daunting tasks. Even huge endeavors become manageable when approached incrementally.
This leads us to the psychology of win momentum. When you're in a flow of successful actions, everything can feel easier. This positive experience creates psychological momentum, making you more resilient in the face of challenges, more motivated, and generally more optimistic.
However, life inevitably throws curveballs. In episode 8, we addressed how to overcome obstacles and effectively reset your focus. Not every day will be a clear victory. Learning to navigate setbacks, extract lessons from them, and reestablish your intention is absolutely vital. It's all about how you choose to respond to difficulties.
And that response has a ripple effect, extending beyond yourself. Your personal achievements and improved mindset don't just benefit you, they positively influence your relationships and your broader community. Your small victories send out positive waves to those around you.
The act of sharing your victories can significantly amplify this ripple effect. When you share your journey and your accomplishments, you can inspire others, demonstrating that what you've achieved is also possible for them. This fosters a wider culture of success and encouragement.
To ensure this continues, we discuss designing your daily winning ecosystem. This means intentionally creating an environment, establishing routines, and cultivating habits that actively support your pursuit of daily wins. The goal is to make success the easier path.
Which brings us to the concept of maintaining momentum for long-term transformation. The daily win isn't meant to be a temporary fix. It's a guiding philosophy for continuous self-improvement. By consistently applying these principles, you can achieve fundamental, lasting change in your life.
And that, Lisa, is what we mean by the ultimate win. It's not about reaching a final stopping point, but rather embracing a dynamic, ever-evolving process. It's a commitment to ongoing growth, learning, and self-discovery, all fueled by the deep satisfaction derived from small, consistent victories.
So, remember that this journey through 1,000 tiny triumphs is yours to continue long after this episode ends. Keep recognizing and embracing those small wins. Celebrate your progress at every stage and never underestimate the profound impact of taking that single, consistent step. The ultimate win is truly a life dedicated to continuous growth and discovery.
This has been an incredibly rewarding journey exploring the daily win with all of you. Thank you for joining us for these 13 episodes. Keep taking those steps forward, keep celebrating your wins, and most importantly, keep growing.
Thanks for listening to this series.